So my name's Chris Colvin, and I'm a lecturer at Queen's University Belfast. I'm an economic historian, and I'm in the management school there. I have training both as an economist and a historian. I'm one of these interdisciplinary people who is not quite at home anywhere. Among economists, I'm a historian, and among historians, I'm an economist. I'm here to do this project, which I have color-coded appropriately. I'm looking at monetary policy during the interwar period here in the Netherlands, and how it was decided and managed, and trying to understand how the decision-making process took place, the different actors, what are they acting on, what information, what theories are they using to try and influence the economy in the way they do, and how successful it was on hindsight. Right. This is gold. This is actually gold from the Nederlandse Bank, which is not very far away from here. And at the time I'm looking at the period I'm looking at, 1 Dutch guilder is worth 0.6-ish grams of gold, gold bullion. So what I'm going to be looking at is trying to understand why that link was established and why it broke down in 1936. Already in 1931, other countries left this gold standard, including Britain. Britain left in 1931. It crashed out. It's the original Brexit, if you like. It's crashed out of this gold standard. The Netherlands maintains this link to 1936, along with France and some other countries, which is pretty interesting, and to try and understand that, how they managed to achieve this, why they do this, and what impact this had. So, by way of background, this is the latest step in a series of works papers that I've written on Dutch financial history of this period. And I started out this process looking at this kind of very small bank. They're called boerenleenbanken, rural credit cooperatives. And this is a bank in a farmhouse somewhere in the Dutch countryside. It maybe only has a couple of hundred customers who also own the bank. So if it goes under, they're liable for its losses. So this is what I started with, and I've been moving up in scale, up the food chain, if you like. So this is the central bank of the cooperative movement. This is a building in 1900. It no longer exists, but it's connecting all these hundreds, over 1,000 small credit cooperatives across the Netherlands together, and it's the predecessor of Rabobank, which you see on the high street, right? So I'm going up the food chain. This is the management headquarters, was the management headquarters, now I think it's a hotel, in The Hague, of the ROBAVA, the Rotterdamse Bankvereniging, which is a predecessor bank of the ABN AMRO Bank. It failed spectacularly in 1924. It needed the government to bail it out, basically, otherwise it would no longer exist. It reminds you of ABN AMRO more recently, perhaps. They created this special headquarters in Rotterdam to mediate between the Amsterdam and Rotterdam. They created the special headquarters in The Hague to mediate between the Amsterdam and Rotterdam branches, because they could never agree on anything, which is partly the problem why it failed. Right. So now I'm going to be looking at this. This is actually a building of the UvA, of the University of Amsterdam now, just round the corner here. It's an archaeology museum. But this is where the Nederlandse Bank used to be. So this is where the people deciding Dutch monetary policy and how to supervise the Dutch financial system would meet. And I've been working at the archives of where the Nederlandse Bank is today, which is a little bit further out. And I've got daily meeting minutes, so I know what they're discussing each day, how they make their decisions, and I'm marrying this with more econometric quantitative analysis to build a sort of a complete picture, to try and explain what's happening qualitatively and quantitatively. The archival sources are particularly important to try and understand the reasons why things are happening. Right? So instead of just finding patterns in data, I want to actually understand why these patterns are emerging, if you like. So that's what I'll be doing here, among other things.
Great, thank you.